afternoon everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84. I just wanted to show a little useful little device that I use when I bring my tropicals indoors, because it's when you're trying to overwinter them inside, it's very misleading as to how damp the soil is or how dry the soil is, because the central heating in the house, let me move this, the central heating in the house has a tendency to dry the surface of the soil up very quickly, as you can see. So it looks at first instance as if this plant's very dry on top. So I went and got one of these little things which is meant to show moisture, soil pH and light. I personally don't think the pH one's very accurate from what I've seen, but the moisture one's quite useful. So if you look at this, which looks very dry on the surface, you can see when I push it in about 3 or 4 inches, it's actually showing the soil's moist. But if I put it all the way down, which is about 7 or 8 inches in the pot, as you can see, it's very wet. Now obviously this is a tropical fruit. This particular one's an ice cream bean, Inga edulis. So you've got to be very wary, because even in the house it's not very it's quite cool in winter and there's not much light and the plants aren't actively growing, so you have to be very careful not to overwater the plants. I'll put it in a little bit there again. 3 or 4 inches under the surface is showing dry to moist, but put it down about 8 inches and it's clearly very wet near the bottom of the pot. So I need to be very careful not to water this until, in fact these plants can virtually dry out in winter, and once they get dry then I'll give them a gentle watering. But it's best to keep them on the moist side rather than the dry side, rather than the wet side, because of the risk of root rot in the low light conditions and lower winter temperatures. Anyway, that's just a moisture meter I use to keep an eye on the plants in winter, to make sure they don't get too dry, but also to make sure they don't stay too wet, in which case I run the risk of root rot. So thought people might be interested, if they're growing plants in a greenhouse or in their house, an easy way to tell if the soil's wet. I wouldn't say these are 100% accurate, but you can pick them up on eBay for probably about £10, so I suppose $10 to $15 in America. So useful little device if you're not sure how wet your house plants or tropical fruit plants are when they're inside. Anyway, thanks for watching. You're welcome to, as usual, like, share the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and hit the bell if you want to see how the plants do over winter. Thanks for watching. Brett out.